Have you ever made some unwise choices? Or I'll just ask it very plainly. Have you ever done something really stupid or foolish? Yeah, I have. Okay, I'll never forget when I was a seventh grader, I had a research paper due for science class. Well, I foolishly procrastinated for weeks, and meanwhile, my parents kept reminding me that it would be best if I got it done sooner rather than later. But still, I chose to ignore their advice, and I waited until the night before the paper was due. However, instead of staying up late to write the paper, I literally copied and pasted several pages from a digital encyclopedia that we had on a CD-ROM. I copied and pasted it into a Word document, and then I turned it in the next morning as if I had written it myself. But the foolishness doesn't end there. Our teacher had required us to cite our research sources, so at the end of my paper, I actually wrote down the name and pages of the exact digital encyclopedia that I had stolen my paper from. Yeah, needless to say, I was busted, I got an F, and eventually I got grounded when my parents found out. Okay, we've all done foolish things, right? But with grace. Have you ever done something foolish that led to long-term consequences? And was there anyone who tried to warn you first? Was there anyone offering better advice or wisdom to you up front, but then you still didn't listen? Hey, this week we're talking all about the wise and the foolish builders from Matthew chapter 7. It's a story that Jesus tells to illustrate this very simple truth. Will we listen to God and live according to His call, His word, His ways, and His wisdom? And therefore live an impactful, fruitful, breakthrough kind of life? Or will we ignore Him and make our own decisions, and therefore live with the consequences of our own foolishness as a result? As you look at this story together, I want you to ask yourself, what is God saying to me in this season? What am I building my life on? And what am I investing my life in? His call, His plan, His wisdom, or my own? Family, as you consider this breakthrough season that God is calling us all into, how does God want to continue to set your life on a solid foundation? And how are you investing your life in others so that they can live on a solid, godly foundation too?
I think a big moment for us for wanting to be a part of the church and remain here would probably be how easy it was to make the decision to stay here, because it was the first church we visited when we moved here, and we decided we want to be a part of that and remain a part of that. It's something that we felt as soon as we walked in the door and were welcomed, and we've never looked back and never looked anywhere else.
You can just tell it's a different environment, and you can just feel there's a energy, there's God. You can walk in and feel God in church. Just special. We knew right off the bat that this is some place that we could really dip into our faith fully. Well, when we first started tithing, it's not something that we were initially super comfortable with, but wow, like it's made a difference. You can definitely tell when the months that we tithe faithfully and then also give on top of that, just things change in our lives. And even when we're having financial struggles, you can definitely, like, God's there all the time, and we're always making it through every single time.
Starting to tithe and feeling the call that we needed to be a part of that process and tithing and be more involved with the church and inviting God into our lives through our finances was a huge step, and we haven't regretted anything about it. It's only been a positive experience. One way God has challenged me personally is put more time into the church and more time into my personal time and our personal time together, spending time with the church or with projects or small groups, and every time we do that, it's just a blessing for me. I know it's a positive outcome, but it's always taking that first step of just applying your own time and applying your own to physically be there.
And I'm definitely more of an introvert, so getting out there sometimes, talking to new people, people I don't know, can be kind of scary. But it's good, and if it means getting people to our church or building just relationships and people who we can go on a journey together, that's always something positive that comes out of it.
As a police officer in Newton, I think that it's been great to see members of the community show up to church and show up to our functions and be able to be a part of us and us be a part of the community and just be able to reach out and speak with those people and be able to love on them and let them know that God loves them and be able to invite them to come back.
We're just excited to see where it goes. We know how far the church has come so far, and we are able to see just the growth in the short amount of time that we've been here with redoing the kids' church and getting more members, more neighborhood gatherings, more groups, more volunteering activities, and really reaching out to the community.